And now it's time for What If It Exploded, hosted by Lloyd.
I've got this delicious dilemma. I've always loved my Doritos tortilla chips. I just love them.
And this has been What If It Exploded, hosted by me, Lloyd.
Looking for a personalized video request? Can't find anyone else to do it? Well, then come see me. Head over to our Cameo page where you can get yourself a birthday shout out for either you or a friend, get a personalized message, ask questions, plenty of options. All of that over at cameo.com/thecinemasnob. Hope to see you there.
Oh, well, I'm gonna have to start making a new ad soon. That Cameo ad is like ancient. I'm still wearing jacket. I kind of do still wear my jacket outside a lot. If I sweat more, it feels like I'm getting a very, very good walk-in. But I do have, my book is coming out soon, July 7th. Unless something happens, like some kind of disaster, like the end of Wonder Boys or something like that. So luckily, it exists more than just me carrying around a stack of papers. unless something terrible happens, my book coming out July 7th, Class of '86, and this Friday it'll be up on pre-orders over on Amazon. So I should get to it. I'm sitting here on a live stream eating Whopper Doritos. Not right now, because I got to ramble a little bit first. The Good Samaritans if you're not watching this live, the Good Samaritans in the comments. I mean that genuinely too. Good Samaritans in the comments will tell you what the time code is for when I do take a bite out of one of a few bags of flame grilled Whopper Doritos that I have sitting there. I'm not sure what I'm going to do in terms of an ad for Class of '86, my book. You know, it's part high school comedy, part slasher movie, part post-apocalyptic. So, but I've promoted movies, of course, the movies that we've put out, and different compilation DVDs and all those. But I like someone in the chat is already like, did I miss the part where you ate the chips? Oh no, I don't actually get to the food until a few hours in. But what I could do for making an ad for class of '86, I could just use clips of movies that like inspired it. It'd be the first thing that uses clips of like Slaughter High, like Porky's, Screwballs, Rats Night of Terror, Hard Knuckle. All of those put together in a trailer, not for a movie, but for a book. But I hope you enjoy it when it comes out. That'll be out August 7th. Pre-orders coming up this Friday, so that'll be cool. Happy late Father's Day, everyone. I celebrated, my first sort of Father's Day last weekend. No, we just do what we usually do. We just order a bunch of food and watch The Stepfather. The cats hadn't seen The Stepfather before, so over on our Twitter account, I had to put up a picture of Pearl sitting in front of the TV, unfortunately falling for Jerry's charms. Don't do it, Pearl. That's The Stepfather. She loves it. She especially loves when I play Sonic the Hedgehog. No joke. She really, really likes that. She likes watching things, and when you play those games, there's a lot going on screen. But already, Laura and I are kind of doing, parent stuff already. We already watch tons of competition shows, especially the food shows. I think season 2 of Is It Cake is coming out this weekend. I hope so. I hope so anyway, because sure, a lot of people have been looking forward to the movies that are out there. The Flash is out, got Indiana Jones coming out. For me, I'm like, what about Is It Cake season 2? I got it. I'm not sure if even Indiana Jones can figure out which one is cake or not. We rotate between a couple of different things. We have our cooking shows and our competition shows that we watch. And also whatever drama we're watching too. Like, usually we'll get the darker thing out of the way first, and then closer to bedtime, that's when we put on the lighter cooking show. So, in the same evening, we can watch, like we've started watching Euphoria, so we watch Euphoria, and then maybe the Summer Baking Challenge over on the Food Network. We don't even have to switch apps. Both Euphoria and Summer Baking Championship are on, I'm about to say HBO Max, but I guess it's just Max now. That's confusing. I grew up with the HBO Cinemax package, so if I click on something called Max, it's like I shouldn't be deciding between drug show or food show. It should be like Cinemax, like I'm deciding between Shannon Weary or Shannon Tweed, or what kind of Skinemax am I in the mood for? Well, it is kind of similar. Are you in the mood for something dark? Are you in the mood for something light? In Cinemax's case, it's am I in the mood for an erotic legal thriller with a lot of sex scenes like Body Chemistry 4 with Larry Poindexter and Shannon Tweed, or am I in the mood for shenanigans? It isn't what am I in the mood for? It's what my dick is in the mood for. Am I going to masturbate to this sexy court case in which Shannon Tweed probably screwed somebody to death, because it might be a ripoff of Body of Evidence, or will it be the slapstick that's going to get me in the mood? Like anything with bikini in the title, except for Bikini Island, that's a slasher movie. But something more zany like Bikini Car Wash Company, Bikini Drive-In, Bikini Summer 2. I don't know. I'll just look through the entirety of Fred Olin Ray's filmography. See, people in the chat are already digging you know you're in one of my streams where not even 10 minutes in and you get a Larry Poindexter reference. But because so the other day we knew we were going to watch an episode of Euphoria and an episode of Summer Baking Challenge. So I thought we'd settled on Euphoria first. Again, that way the lighter thing is closer to when we go to bed. So we have our dinner, we sit down, we watch it, and there's the warning screen in front of it that's like, warning, this show contains sex, violence, drug use, extreme situations, all of that. And Laura's sitting there going, what the hell is this? I go, the warning label. She's like, yeah, why? I go, it's been in front of every single episode. Like, every single episode shows like warning, sex, violence, da 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 da. And Laura just goes, for baking? So she thought that at first I put up the Summer Baking Championship, in which an episode would get crazy violent. Like, oh man, they're giving us less and less time to make these rainbow cupcakes. I'm going to need some extreme drug use to get through this. And then one of them maybe gets tired of the host's summer puns throughout the whole thing and just throws a javelin into his head. I joke, but I can think of some cooking shows that have gotten a little, not necessarily violent, but someone taken away in an ambulance. We watched that show Chow House, where it's all in an Italian villa, and they're all living together in the villa and everything. They're cooking some Italian food. But one episode that seems like someone shouldn't be taken away in an ambulance. The only cooking show I want to see where someone's taken away in an ambulance will be if it takes place at a summer camp. I've seen sleepaway camp. Someone's going to get a pot of boiling water dumped on their head. But no. So one episode opened with a guy who he separated like his shoulder or something like that. He just woke up. I guess the challenge the night before got a little crazy, so he woke up either with a slipped disc or a dislocated shoulder or something, and then he is taken away in an ambulance and never seen again. So I'm going to assume he is the food that they made in the finale. That show, you ever see one of those cooking shows where they're kind of just making up the rules as it goes along. That was sort of the case with this, where I see it got greenlit for a season 2, which cool. We'll watch it. We watched all of the first season, and I was like, maybe they can like tweak it a little bit. You can see where there'd be room for improvement. Like they should probably go through. They should probably like go tour the area a little bit more and take advantage of the fact that it's in Italy. And also, again, to get to the rules of this, it's one of those shows where the 2 winners at the end of each round, they pick who, it's either 2 or 3 winners, they pick who goes home. But about halfway through, they realize that, oh, they're actually voting off the people who are the best ones on the show as a strategy, so the competition will be not as hard when it gets to the finale. So then they kind of drop halfway through the contestants picking who goes home. There's one where the contestants just straight up went, we don't know who to decide who to go home. So then the hosts and the judges just did it. But then they realized, oh, among our best players or chefs are being sent home. So towards the end of it, they bring back the chefs, like all the ones who have been voted off, just so they can be like, okay, one of you is going to come back and come to the finale. And they sort of know which one that they're going to pick to come back to the finale, between 1 or 2. As hilarious as it would be if the guy who was voted off in the very first episode comes back to compete in the finale and then wins. That didn't happen, but that would be kind of amazing. Like the winner was only in 2 episodes and one guy is in the hospital. But no. So you can tell that there's one guy who is really good, who they really want to be on the finale. So in the wild card episode where they bring back all the people, instead of like deciding to just say, okay, you should come back, they know that one of the others is better than his, so they go, we couldn't choose between the 2 of you. We're gonna have just you 2 compete to then see who goes in the finale. And then they're like, okay, you win. You come over into the finale. And then when it gets to the finale, the guy is already like really tired. He's like, yeah, I'm not on my A game right now because this is the 3rd time cooking today. I had to do these 2 other competitions this morning. I'm really, really tired. So it could use some tweaking. Not to say that there aren't some amazing shows where the contestants vote people off. You ever see this one on Netflix? This thing was great. If you haven't seen this, you got to check it out. It's this cooking competition show that's called Pressure Cooker, in which there is no host, there are no judges. It is just the contestants living in this nice room where there appears to be no windows, and their challenges are kind of different every week, and they get their challenges via like this fax machine that wakes them up in the morning and gives them their orders for the day. And then there's different ways and alliances that they make to maybe try to get another person off. If that's what the rule of the episode is going to be, there will be a contestant from a previous one who will come back, who is then deciding who goes home and is trying all the food. It's crazy. Like when you watch this, it kind of feels like the twist at the end of it would be like it's this experiment going on in a dystopian future where there's this mirror and these scientists taking notes on the other side of it as this like human experiment between and this unseen figure faxing them orders on what they gotta make for the day and the rules of who gets voted off. It's like an Egon Spengler experiment you'd see at the beginning of Ghostbusters 2. At some point, the puppy's gonna get taken away. So that one was kind of great. I hope they do a season 2 of that. So now that I've talked about cooking shows for a while, I am actually starting to get a little bit hungry. So thankfully, I have the flame grilled Whopper Doritos. let's see, the people, I went for about 15 minutes, so it'll probably say that over in the comments on at least when I hold up the food. I saw I didn't see ads for this. I saw people mentioning it on Twitter. There were articles about it. There was probably an article about it over on Brand Eating. And I tried looking for it around here, but pretty quickly I figured out that I guess this is only in the UK. The way that I figured that out was when I went over to eBay to see if I could order it and noticed how insane the shipping cost was for it. So if you go to eBay and because you live somewhere where there is an ocean between you and the flame grilled Whopper Doritos, it's not cheap. So it wasn't cheap to get these, but I will say they sent me 3 of them. So I better like these because I got a lot. It's already going to take me like 5 years to get through the giant box of icy cereal that I got in there. I don't want it to, well, I do and I don't want it to take 5 years to get through the Whopper Doritos. Because if they're in the cabinet for 5 years, that's a second Brad tries right there. You space them out after every 5 years. So just a fridge full of I'm putting these in the fridge. A cabinet full of old food. I'm surprised these aren't in the States. I would think they'd do okay. There was a Wendy's chicken sandwich Pringles. I do remember, this is the second time there's been a Doritos flavor where I'm surprised they're not here. And the other one was the Mountain Dew Doritos, which I remember kind of liking. I remember those being pretty good. And I would think they would do like gangbusters here. Both of those things seem to go together. We'll probably get something screwed up like Doritos flavored Mountain Dew. Don't think they wouldn't do that because there was the Flamin' Hot Mountain Dew that I think did fairly well when they released it. Again, it did well, and that doesn't even sound good. Doritos flavored or Mountain Dew flavored Doritos, it sounded kind of good to me, and it was pretty good. These, I did like the chicken sandwich Pringles. So let me go ahead and open these. Ooh, I can. So if it's the true Burger King Whopper experience, then I should have paid extra not for shipping, but for it to have cheese in it. Yeah, that does smell like burger. And I'm not gonna lie, it does smell like Burger King. It passed the smell test. That does. I can smell the bun, I can smell the grill and the tomato. Sometimes you get a lot of tomato on a Whopper every now and then. Very tomatoey taste every now and then, That's the great thing about getting the Whopper. It's delicious, and you don't know which ingredient is going to be even more so on the Whopper you get. Sometimes there'll be a lot of mayonnaise, a lot of ketchup. Sometimes there'll be a lot of buns. Sometimes it'll be a smashed bun. Sometimes there might be a lot of onion, a lot of pickle, or a lot of tomato. This one, I do kind of smell the tomato in there. All right. There you go. Quality entertainment. Look at that. Looks like a Dorito, doesn't it? Son of a bitch. I got 3 bags of this. What is... Well, maybe the draw is I got a free Whopper meal with the purchase of a Whopper meal. I don't know if will that work here in the States? Dude, I don't know about this. And I liked the Mountain Dew Doritos. This one, science has maybe gone too far. But I'm eating more because it's there. I got 3 of them. I'm trying to pick out what I even taste. It smells like Whopper. It does. But tastes like the candy Whoppers. That'd be weird. I mostly taste corn chip after a while. Like just Like, eventually it kind of just turns into just the taste of if the Dorito had no flavoring. But it does at first. I just can't pinpoint it. It's sort of like... if I dropped a chip in the grill, it doesn't really taste like Whopper. The chicken sandwich, but not in a way that like tricks me, like the gummy mac and cheese that tasted like orange. Not like that. It's trying to taste like Whopper or burger, but it's okay. Now I kind of taste old lettuce. Like if I heated up the Whopper the next day, maybe it would taste all right if I actually put the chips on the sandwich. Well, that might be okay. It's made to enhance the Whopper. Well, yeah, it's sort of like that fried chicken Pepsi that I had that was meant to enhance the chicken when you drink it. Maybe that's what this is. It's meant to enhance the Whopper. Even the picture on there is like confusing because sure, you got over here, you got the burger part, there's the tomato, and then that looks like I typed in pickle Oreo into an AI app. And there's a little pickle in there, I guess, not like heavy by any means. It's a lot of little things, and none of them are that heavy. They just kind of go away after a while. I'm trying. What if they really messed up? And I was like, wait, I know that. That's the Big King. They messed up. That's the ultimate chicken sandwich. I got a buddy of mine, my buddy David. He'd be thrilled if it was if it was chicken fries flavored. Actually, I would too. Chicken fries are amazing. They are damn good. And I've had chicken sandwich chips before, so I could vouch that chicken fry flavored Doritos might not be that bad. A little bit better than this. Maybe that's why this isn't available in the United States. You haven't perfected the Whopper taste enough for us Americans. We're going to need you to go back to the drawing board. Maybe at least put some grill lines on there. Draw them on there with Sharpie if you have to. A little ketchup. It's something different every time I have it. Or maybe that's the tomato. Yeah, okay. A little bit of tomato. It's not that good, people. I know I'm really lenient on this show because usually I'm like, well, it didn't make me puke, so I guess that means it's good. This isn't making me puke, but it's not that good. I'll when Laura goes to work the next day, I'll just slip it in there with her sandwich. Oh, thank you, Baja Blast. Oh, well, see, there's the problem. I'm having Taco Bell drink with my Burger King. I mean, I'll keep them here so I can have something to chew on when I do the super chat questions in here. So, do I recommend the amount I paid to ship this from the UK to the United States of America? No, I wouldn't recommend this if I just went down the street to Walgreens. There's other interesting chips I could probably have that are there, like they got the Cuban sandwich Lay's over there right now. They've got the BLT chips. They don't have the buffalo chicken sandwich one. See, that's another chicken sandwich chip that's probably better than this. I'll give you one more chance. Well, that one was alright. It wasn't. It was just a smaller piece. I don't know. It's a good idea. It is. It needs a little work. And I like Doritos. I do. I like Doritos. I love the Whopper. You know, we've done a lot of Burger King stuff on the show before. 9 times out of 10, I usually like them. Because, again, I like most things that are featured on here. Can't really get behind this one, but it gave me enough to talk about. And enough to, like, kind of graze over the next few years, I guess. But all of these have the free coupons on there. Maybe this will work out. Oh, honey, we're going to be eating nothing but Whopper meals over the next couple of weeks. We'll be with whatever cooking show we're going to watch over the weekend. Nothing but Whopper meals. I know my wife's a vegetarian, but it's okay. They have the Impossible Whopper over there. So maybe that's what. See, Laura, if these were the Impossible Whopper Doritos, then Laura would help me eat them. She wouldn't. She has way higher standards for food than I do. Okay, well, that was fun. So, no Tox Box this week. No drawing because I am in the final race to finish 1983 in film. I got the October portion of it written earlier. I posted like within the last couple days, I posted a couple of them over on Patreon. They're all over on Patreon except for the last 2 segments that I got to do. Today I posted up the September part of it. Yesterday I posted up the August part of it. Both of those together are like an hour long. So when I did 1982 in film, that I think it barely crossed over the 4-hour mark. 1983, it might come close. With 1983, there's a few months where there's not a ton because Return of the Jedi came out in May of 83. So there were some months where not a lot wanted to compete with it. And the ones that did were like Metal Storm in 3D. Which cool. I'd have gone and seen Metal Storm in 3D. Bring that back to theaters, please. 40th anniversary. Celebrate Jared Sin's 40th birthday in 3D. No, so some months were kind of easy to get through. But then once it gets to around like September or October, then more movies start coming out. And the portion I uploaded today was like 30 minutes, and so was the one the day before. All that's over on Patreon right now. So if you want to watch them in chunks, they're over there for early viewing at patreon.com/thecinemasnob. I only have a couple of segments left, so it should be done within the next couple of weeks. Then I can start getting some, because I also want to do some episodes that tie into my book. I want to do it. I want to do an episode on like Slaughter High, Rats, Night of Terror. I might do one on Porky's. I might go ahead and I might do an episode on Porky's. I reference it enough in the 80s episodes. Got to do Porky's so I can get to Porky's 2 when they go after the Klan. And then Porky's Revenge. It's the Smokey and the Bandit 3 of the series. And then that weird one from the 2000s where they just had the name rights. It was like Porky's... What was it called? It was like Who's Pimpin' Porky or something like that. Or Somebody's Pimpin' Porky. Someone in the chat will know their Porky's knowledge even more so than me. Or no, wait. Porky's Pimpin' Pee-wee. Is that what it was called? I'll get confirmation in the chat. I have complete faith that everyone watching me eating Burger King Doritos right now will know their Porky's lore. Like Porky's Pimpin' Pee-wee. I want to say that's what it was called. I haven't actually seen it. So it'll be an excuse to get to the 4th Porky's film. So, all right, I'll go ahead and pull up the super chat right now as I anxiously await the answer to my Porky's question. Okay, get your super chat questions in here so we can have a good time reading some comments, answering these as I Pick Burger King Doritos out of my teeth. Okay. Matt Florent says, how do you go about getting sponsors for the show? I like doing a lot of local stuff. Like basically, there's ones that go to like our business account, but most of them are scams. So I do like doing a lot of local stuff. Or if people just write to me and they want me to advertise like their channel or a video. You know, I did an ad on this local arcade that we all like to go into. My mom knows some people. Had a friend of hers who started a hot sauce business, so he wanted to send me some hot sauces. So he asked, he's like, doesn't your son do some stuff? Like, can I send him some hot sauces? So I got like, I did an ad for that. That's kind of what I do. I don't, basically, I kind of just wait for people to write to me, to be perfectly honest. I'm usually doing something in terms of writing or editing, so I don't go out looking for a lot of sponsors. But if people write to me and they want me to advertise something, yeah, then I totally will. Okay, Jacob Matthew Crawford says, "Aloha, Brad. Of the great haunting Vietnam War films, The Deer Hunter, Apocalypse Now, Platoon, which did you find the most emotionally draining?" Let's see. The Boys in Company C, because they lost their soccer match at the end of it. Spoiler, sorry. Good question. Most emotionally. Damn, The Deer Hunter gets really freaking intense. Pretty slow build up, but once it gets going, it gets freaking going. The one I've watched the most is, and I grew up watching Vietnam movies, like of the war genres, those were my favorites. So I give you, if anything, because I always loved the soundtrack of them. But also, the one I watched the most was probably Full Metal Jacket. Because it's got a real, like, kind of fly on the wall feeling to it, like almost dreamlike in a lot of segments, where, you know, there's like the docu footage that they're sort of making through it that does give it like an extra bump of realism to what's going on. I like both segments. I think they both complement each other really well. I like seeing like the dynamic on the island sequences, and then kind of seeing how the wars change certain characters and how they interact with each other when they get back, when a couple of them get back together. So that one's the one I've seen the most, and it's got some brutal ass kills in it. Genuinely like very shocking moments in it. So yeah, that one I would probably say. Campbellzilla, did you ever see that HBO series Ralph Bakshi made in the 90s called Spicy City? Sort of like heavy metal by way of Sin City. No, but I watched Spin City with the Bill Lawrence show with Michael J. Fox and Barry Bostwick. I watched that one. It sounds exactly the same. If the things you just said were a hilarious sitcom about the mayor of New York City. I didn't. I grew up a sitcom guy, obviously. So no, I didn't see Spicy City. But watched a hell of a lot of 90s HBO shows, from the Larry Sanders Show to Dream On, to even watch The High Life, and that lasted like 6 episodes. I watched it because Letterman produced it. It was kind of like a modern, not modern set, but modern Maine made Honeymooners a little bit. I liked that one. Well, Clayton Shimfessel had message redacted. Not sure what it said, but thank you for the super chat contribution nonetheless. Dave Valensky goes, didn't Jaws 3D come out in 1983? And I didn't know they made 4 Porkies. I don't know why I'm giving you this voice. Sorry. Didn't Jaws Whenever something starts with didn't, you gotta talk it like, didn't Jaws 3D come out in 1983? And I didn't know they made 4 Porkies. These are the things I say in my head all the time, too. And he added, it probably went straight to video. I'm going to say the same sentence to Laura. I didn't know they made 4 Porkies. Probably went straight to video. She ain't watching it. Well, actually, she likes Porkies. She might watch She might watch Porkies again with me. Yeah, the Porkies 4, the Porky's Pimpin' Pee-wee, whatever it's called, that's set in like modern times. That was totally straight to video. It's like super low budget. Yeah, it did. And yeah, Jaws 3D, that came out in 83. That's one of the segments that I've got up on Patreon right now. I forget what July, I think. I can't remember. But yeah, there's of the 3D movies in 83, there's a lot. There's the ones that people know, like the franchise ones, like Jaws 3D, Amityville 3D, and then there's the other ones that time kind of forgot. There was The Man Who Wasn't There 3D, the Steve Guttenberg one, from the producer of Friday the 13th 3D, but it's a zany Invisible Man comedy that's got like the most awkward makeout scene you've ever seen in a movie. It's a makeout scene with an invisible person, so you just see this tongue. I don't even want to do it. It's off-putting. There's that. There's Metal Storm, Space Hunter. Is that it? I feel like... Treasure of the Four Crowns, the Tony Anthony one. Yeah, those came out then. I can't remember if I'm forgetting one. But I might even do a 3D month. Like 3 December, maybe I'll call it. Because Laura and I are going to be out of town for like a few weeks in late December. There's a big family get-together on her side of the family that we're going to. So I am going to need some content to put up while we're gone. And 3 December might work because I can put up like the 2D episodes, because more people would probably watch the 2D one, and then maybe by the end of it put all the episodes together for a big like 3D version of all of them in the same one. There's I thought I had some more. Thank you for pointing this out. Jacob just wrote a thing on there that said there was a few super chats that I missed. Sorry about that. I thought there were more. I would blame the software, but it was totally my fault. So, okay. Let's go back to the very top here. Danny McGraw says, hello, Brad. Thank you for all the entertainment that you've given us over the years. My question is, what is the worst movie you've watched for Musical March in September? That's a good question. There's ones that are bad, but I like them. Like, the Apple is entertaining as hell. High Tops isn't good, but it's hard to call that a movie. It's a filmed stage performance. Man. Oh, maybe it's Cuckoo Patrol. Cuckoo Patrol is obnoxious. Cuckoo Patrol is the Freddy and the Dreamers movie that I did last year, where Freddy and the Dreamers are put in charge of a Boy Scout troop. Then one thing leads to another. A series of shenanigans happen. They like foil a bank robbery at one point. It's the kind of movie where the phrase, what's the worst that could happen, pops up quite a bit. Even more than that Bubsy cartoon. Off the top of my head, Cuckoo Patrol was really bad. Especially because I watched a really good one that month, the Dave Clark 5 movie, Catch Us If You Can, a.k.a. Having a Wild Weekend. John Borman directed it. That one was damn good. And then I go to Cuckoo Patrol. I'm like, this one's bad. Okay. I like Freddy and the Dreamers are all right. So a couple of the songs I had stuck in my head. Okay. Campbellzilla goes, have you seen any any of exploitation filmmaker Earl Owensby's 3D films like Rottweiler. Oh, I didn't know Rottweiler was in. If it's the one I'm thinking of, or am I thinking of Hound of Hell? If it's the one I'm thinking of, I didn't realize that was in 3D. Tales of the Third Dimension or Chain Gang. No, I haven't actually. Let me look this up. Rottweiler. Okay. Just so I can kind of pinpoint what era they're from. Rottweiler 3D. That's just giving me like AI art of a 3D dog. Let me narrow it down. Okay, all right, here we go. From night to, oh, that is an 80s one, isn't it? No, that is from 1983. I don't know if that one's on my list. I do have like 2 months left. I mean, it's not going to take me 2 months to make it, but I've got tomorrow I'm editing the October of 83 portion. Then after that it'll be November and December. I have to squeeze in the Dog of Death one in there. No, I don't know those, but if it's some old school 3D, I'm always down, cuz old school 3D, the movies might be good, might be bad, but at the end of the day, they threw stuff at the camera. So take that, Scream 6. Most pointless 3D horror film I've ever seen. Drunken Buddha goes way back. Your review for Exit the Dragon, Enter the Tiger. I remember that was a floor episode. Have I thought about doing any more Bruceploitation movies like Bruce's Deadly Fingers of the Dragon Lives? Yeah, Dragon Lives again is one that I've thought about doing for a long. That's been on my list for a long time. You guys out there don't know that movie? It is a movie in which Bruce Lee dies and he goes to hell and he's fighting for control of hell. He's fighting against the Godfather, the Man with No Name. I believe Emmanuel is in there, and he also teams up with Popeye, and they fight mummies at the beginning of it. There's an erection joke where it's playing kung fu fighting. It's fantastic. It's been covered quite a bit online, but I need to spotlight that one at some point. Yeah, I guess I haven't done a lot of Bruceploitation movies. I did Exit the Dragon, Enter the Tiger, because that was that was like the first year of doing the show. Not in the first batch of episodes, but like the first year I was doing it, first year or two, where it usually kind of came down to me doing episodes on just what I happened to watch that week. And that one, like, I got $1 DVD of that Bruceploitation movie. It's a Bruce Lee flick. So I was like, okay, I'll write an episode on this. So I watched this movie called Satan's Children. I'll watch an episode on that, or I'll write an episode on that. Yeah, I need to do some more Bruceploitation. I did Pieces. That's got a Bruceploitation actor in it for one scene. Let's see. Okay, now I'm caught up. Sorry I missed those guys, and thank you very much, Jacob, for pointing that out, that my dumbass missed a lot of those. Okay, let me get back to where I was. Okay. Clayton Shimfessel goes, "Hey Brad, longtime viewer here. Since I know you're a horror connoisseur like myself, what's your go-to films for 80s horror?" I'm a slasher guy. So those were my favorites when I was growing up, because our video store had so many of them, and I grew up during like the heyday of slasher movies. So I would just go to the video store and just rent a truckload like every week if it was something that I knew was, because the Friday the 13th are my favorite horror series. So anything that was like that, which is most slashers, I was always interested in. And the box covers would always be cool, because those were the days you rented stuff, especially horror, based on the box cover. That's how I got title and box cover. That's how I ended up taking home stuff like Nail Gun Massacre and being severely disappointed by the movie Nail Gun Massacre. So slashers they're not the easiest to do episodes on. They're not hard to do episodes on. They're actually kind of easy, but they're simultaneously easy and difficult. Easy in the sense that you know the kind of movie you're going to be getting with it. Whether it's good or bad could be up in the air, but you know the kind of movie you're getting. And the types of jokes that you'll sort of be making. Jokes about a lot of death scenes and, the teen characters being dumb. But since they have such a familiar formula, sometimes it can kind of feel like you're... Not that they are the same movies again, but when you're writing jokes for them, it is like kind of the same joke structure that you're writing with them. So, yeah, you can... I'll have to... question like, did I make a similar joke in this or this? At least with that, since like there is such a set formula, I gotta have a formula of how the episode's written. I'll give it that, but it's fun. It's still fun review. I had a good time doing an episode on The Burning. All the Friday the 13th. I had a great time during. I feel bad for Sean, or the title card artist, Sean Millington. Follow him on Twitter, by the way. It's Sean TM, I believe, and he's working on the cover right now for my book, Class of '86. And so I feel bad for him because when he does title cards and it's part of a series like the Friday the 13th, Elm Street, or even stuff where it's like a trilogy like Thunder Warrior, we'll be talking and he'll be like, I wasn't sure what to do with this because I've already done so many title cards for the Hellraiser movies. I wasn't sure what to do by the time it gets to the 5th or 6th Hellraiser film. We have fun talking about that kind of stuff. Okay. Eclectic Ennui goes, have you seen the film Living, the recent British remake of Akira Kurosawa's Akiru? I have and thought it was really good. That's him saying that, by the way. That sounded like I just gave a really disinterested answer. I have. It's really good. Anyway, moving on. No. I actually haven't seen it. I didn't even know that was something that was out. But no, I'll look into that. If you're vouching for it, I'll go ahead and look into it. And if it's bad, I'll be very angry the next week. Here, I got to Jacob's message saying there's a few super chats above. Thank you for the heads up. El Tamazil says, could you describe each era of... This might be a long question, or a long answer. Could you describe each era of the Snob and their feel? His personal favorite was the War Room era with nothing but Christian movies. Yeah. There was the first, batch of episodes where it was definitely me, like, kind of finding my voice as the character, because I just wasn't really that used to comedy back then. Or used to performing comedy. So that era was written differently. Because one, I wasn't that experienced in doing a show like that or that character. But also, they were written differently because YouTube was different back then. There was a 10-minute time limit. So the reviews were all like non-linear and kind of had to pick and choose what to talk about. And so there is that, like, the kind of finding my footing era. Then there was when the episodes could be like a linear talk through the movie. So there was kind of two beginnings of the show in that regard. And that happened when I moved over to Blip, I think. Then I could start getting more in depth about the movies. Yeah, there's the War Room era, which is our most popular one. Our most popular era was stuff like War Room, the God's Not Dead movies, Kirk Cameron's Saving Christmas. Those are fun to do. They are. Not my favorite era not because of those. Those episodes I think are fine. Like, some I would probably write a little bit different now, but there was like kind of a political era that I don't like, because each era is kind of reflective of what just that genre of review was like during that time. The first couple years is shot and a lot like it's shot and a lot like Cats. I don't know if you can hear the cats. You can't come in here, Cats. I'm not done talking about chips and show eras yet. So that's reflective of what YouTube was kind of like those couple of years. There's an era of episodes where I'm dropping the F-bomb about every other word, because that was just kind of how a lot of them were written, where the insults would be kind of cartoonish. Then there was like when it got kind of political, because that's just what was getting a lot of hits then. It's my least favorite era because I didn't really like doing it that much back then. But YouTube liked it. It kind of pumped it up quite a bit. The episodes were kind of popular and got a lot of hits, but it dated the show severely, and it wasn't what I really set out to do with the show. So after a while, I just kind of dropped it. I was like, yeah, I'm just not interested in this kind of episode. Like, off the top of my head, Hillary's America and things like that. I'm not interested in doing this kind of thing. I kind of wanted to bring it back to being like just really just about the movies and being a bit more analytical with them, because that's what the era is now and what it kind of has been for the past few years, where it's less about the character being exaggerated. It is. It's still very much a character. But now it's kind of like, now you can really combine, now you can kind of combine real thoughts about something while partnering that with the character and the delivery of the character. So this era of the past few years is honestly kind of what I like the best out of all of them. I don't know. It is nice kind of being, I don't know if genuine's the right word, but I mean, not that I was not that I was lying about what I felt about certain movies in the past, but you can kind of, you can talk more about different types of movies that I wouldn't have years ago. 10 years ago, I wouldn't have done an episode on like Phantasm or, Texas Chainsaw Massacre or things like that. Now you can, while still making it funny and kind of in character and and kind of lovingly joking about a lot of stuff. That's what it's been like the few years. That's honestly what I like the best. And I still throw in stuff like Matilda, the boxing kangaroo movie, to get some real WTF movies in there. Okay. MH We Eat Nation goes, "Hey Brad, with the 40th anniversary of Christine coming in December, is there a chance you could spotlight the 77 film The Car?" I should put that in the talks box. I think they're remaking Christine, so if they remake Christine, I'll do an episode on Christine. That's one of my favorite King adaptations. I haven't gotten to that part in 1983 yet. The poster's up there. I haven't gotten to that part in 1983 yet, but I can't wait because I freaking love Christine. I'd talk about The Car. I don't know if I'd pick it on my own, but I should put The Car in the talks box. Campbellzilla, there's a reason you've never heard of Earl Owensby's movies. They were usually only shown in the southeastern United States at drive-ins and grindhouses. Odds are more people saw them on VHS and 2D. Yeah, I don't even think our video store had them either. I remember being so disappointed when there was like, when you grew up with video stores like me, and you're faced with the unfortunate reality that the VHS isn't in 3D. I remember being so excited as a kid, and I got Friday the 13th 3D, had some old 3D glasses, and then putting in the tape, putting on the glasses, and being so sad. But in denial, like, the realization of this isn't being presented in 3D was unfortunately slow. It's sort of like, is there a problem with the tape? Is there a problem with the glasses? Do I need a different type of glasses? Why would they put something out that's supposed to be in 3D, but it's not in 3D? I don't understand what is happening here. Maybe it's because of me when you'd go to the video store. You'd see like an Amityville 3D VHS sitting there, and it would say like not in 3D. You see that, Brad? Not in 3D. We have to retitle this Amityville 3 The Demon. So I'll keep an eye out on some of those. I love me some 80s 3D, like I said. Eclectic Ennui goes, since you're a Schwarzenegger fan, did you watch the recent Netflix docuseries Arnold about his life and career? Hell yeah, I did. Arnold's one of my heroes, man. Yeah, I watched that. I watched the hell out of that. Watched it as soon as it aired. Aired. You can tell I grew up long before the streaming era. No, it's really good, and it's edited very well. It was cool how they did the segments where it's 3. One's his bodybuilding career, one's the movie career, one's a political career. No, it's all very, very well done. I saw it in the theater. I've loved it ever since then. All the times I've seen it, I still love it now. I think it's an endlessly clever movie, especially if you grew up on those Arnold movies like me. I have seen that over on social media where some people have been seeking out that movie and really, really digging it, which is cool because it's deserved its reappraisal over the years. I think it's a great film. Call Me Mr. Broadstreet goes, a longtime fan. Keep up the amazing work. I can't wait for 1984 in film. It'll be coming next year. And the movie, give my regards to Broadstreet. Yeah, once the new year rolls around, I'll be working on 1984 in film. Got to do 1984 in film. 1980. I'm sure there is some foreign films in there. Between 83 and 84, I'll be doing 1962 in film and 1963 in film. Those are fun. It'll be fun going back to the 60s ones again. Drunken Buddha goes, can you say in Lloyd's voice, you guessed correctly, I am a little drunk? Throwback. I'm not saying that. My drinking days are long behind me. That's if you don't remember that, the little bumper that we had that TuneWorks did for us. Some of our old videos had a bumper at the end of it that was from the animated series that we did, Lloyd, where Lloyd was a private detective, and I love that show. It's one of my favorite shows that we did. I wish we could have done more seasons on it because it was good, but I am glad that I did give it an ending because I didn't know if we'd be able to do another season of it. So I did kind of give it an ending just in case. And it's an ending that I'm totally fine with, but I still wish we could have done some more. I really love that show. Anyway, I can do that voice for you. This is not the voice that...
The voice I would give to real life Lloyd was like this.
But Lloyd in the animated series was different. That one goes, you guessed correctly, I am a little drunk. He had a different voice as Private Detective Lloyd because we never incorporated this, but I think at one point I toyed with the idea of in an episode having it be that the animated series was all taking place in Lloyd's head, like it was just this kind of imaginary world that he created, that he put himself in because of all the movies he's had to watch with me for the snob, which is why there's episodes that revolve around Oh Heavenly Dog or Nuki or The Geek or Chatterbox and Tequila and Benetti. I mean, that's still like canon in my head. It might not be in the show, but that's the explanation of why animated Lloyd's voice and real Lloyd's voice are different. Eclectic Ennui. Then we'll get out of here soon. I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit. Eclectic Ennui goes, this might sound like a dumb question, but since you're doing long snob episodes on the 60s and 80s films, do you plan to cover the 70s? Oh, yeah, totally. It's just going in order. With the 80s, it's going in order of the 40th anniversaries. So there's one 80s episode per year. 83 this one, 84 the next one. With the 60s, those aren't tying into any kind of anniversaries. Those are just kind of done one after the other. So the 60s ones come out a little quicker. Not quick, because they still take a while to make. They don't take as long to make as the 80s ones because there's not as many movies. But they take a little bit. Like usually they take about I was going to say a month, but that was because I wasn't doing weekly Snob episodes during that time, so I could work on it more. So now they would take like a couple of months to do the 60s ones. But as soon as I finish 83, then I'll be starting 62. But all right, I'm going to go ahead and we've hit the hour mark. Not that there is a time limit. I just kind of noticed that. So, okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Stay tuned. Follow us on Twitter. Stay tuned Friday. That's when pre-orders of my book, Class of 86, will be posted up. Again, support us over on Patreon, where you can see like hours worth of snob material on there for 1983 in film. Thank you so much for the questions, everyone. That means a lot to us. Great questions, by the way, as always. Always fun to hang out, talk to you guys, shoot the breeze for a little bit, and try some, in this case, very disappointing food. All right, let me pop up let's get that King Frat theme back in here. We'll head on out of here. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you next week. Take care.